What's going on, guys? This is Building Blocks, and this is going to be part 3 of what is blockchain. So, to kind of understand a little bit more about blockchain, you have to kind of break it all down to uh, what it is. Okay, so I don't know if everybody remembers back in the day, Napster or LimeWire or Pirates Bay or uTorrent or BitTorrent or any of these peer-to-peer type of places where you're able to download files. Whether or not it was legal or illegal, it doesn't really matter. That's not something I'm talking about. Up in Canada, it's illegal, so you can't really download. But anyway, the point is, though, is that back in the day, when you're looking at, the late 90s, early 2000s, peer-to-peer sharing was quite something to be, thinking about, right? So you wanted to download a movie or music, that's the way you kind of did it. And, that's where a lot of these artists or movies or movie studios, I should say, came after, certain peer-to-peer websites like Napster, right? So, like there was the big Metallica thing, right? Metallica went after Napster and, sued them and then won because they were basically pirating all of their music and then just putting it online for free. But that's the whole thing of it, is that's essentially what kind of started blockchain, right? Was peer-to-peer transaction. So when you're sitting there looking at Bitcoin or blockchain itself, right, a lot of it has to do with a peer-to-peer source. If I want to send you some Bitcoin, all I need is your wallet address and boom, it's done, right? And we're able to share that data between the two of us, right? You can make it public, you can make it private, but regardless of that, I'm able to send you or to anybody, or somebody can send me Bitcoin, and it's done, right? Having this developed back in 2008 was really smart. And we're getting to the point where blockchain will be used in a lot of different aspects, right? But to kind of break it all the way down to the very bare minimum, there is peer-to-peer decentralized ledger, right? Where everything is being stored and the computer's doing the thinking for you. And you do not need to have any type of human intervention for any type of transaction, okay? So seeing this the way that it is going right now, where, I'll bring in the world effects here, is that, Ukraine is obviously under attack from the Russian Federation army. And to see a majority of their funds or, being told to send Bitcoin to these charities to try to help them out. I opened up my Wealthsimple app, which is a broker here in Canada, and the first thing that pops up is saying that they'll waive all fees if I'm sending money to Ukraine. But it's not just money, it was crypto, okay? I seen in the news the other day that Ukraine was coming out with their own token, and then they were coming up with their own NFTs to try to help pay for their military funding. So it's interesting to see all this kind of stuff kind of unravel and not unravel, but help promote and show that having a decentralized network is extremely important. A lot of their banks over there in Ukraine and Russia, both of them, really. I heard today that Goldman Sachs has just pulled out of Russia as well. So they're losing banks, they're losing ways of being able to send money to, loved ones or family, or to just even pay their bills as this is all going on over there. Like, it's actually a crazy thing to see, where a country or the people are kind of going towards a decentralized way of trying to obtain money. And that one way is through Bitcoin, which is, oddly enough, what we're all talking about right now, right? So people don't understand blockchain on, they sit there and say, well, what if they shut down the network? Well, shutting down the Bitcoin network is a little bit more complicated than just flipping a switch and saying, okay, well, it's done now. We're off. We're offline, right? No. Because as long as you have internet somewhere, as long as somebody has access to that ledger, it still runs. There is nothing that's going to stop it. There's other companies that are trying to work with an offline ledger, which is quite interesting as well. So you won't even need to have internet access to access your funds, your money, or your crypto, or whatever it might be. That's an interesting aspect as well. Sorry, but to see the way that the world is going right now, with the first 2 years here, we've been dealing with the pandemic. They tell you, don't bring your money. We don't want your money. We just want to use debit or tap or whatever. And to see that, in the last 2 years, the big kind of adoption where there's only 1% of the world that even were acknowledging crypto as an asset to, up to 4 to 5% now. To see that 4% growth over just adoption. I'm not talking about value. I'm just talking about adoption. About more and more people. Going back years ago, there was only one guy that I knew that was talking about it, and then now when I go to work, everybody's talking about it. So everybody wants to learn how to get into it or just learn about it, and this is some of the reason as to why I've kind of started this channel, is to maybe hopefully explain it to a broader audience there, and to explain to everybody, or to certain people at least, that it's not as complicated as what people make it out to believe. Okay, they try to, everything. Bitcoin shrouds the whole entire market. The entire blockchain industry itself is all shrouded by Bitcoin. And if once you break it all down and break it apart from Bitcoin, it's an extremely interesting concept, and it's an extremely interesting technology. Okay, and to see the direction that it's going in over the last little while, especially the last 2 years, like the push for going all digital for a lot of things is crazy. Like, they just announced here in Canada that Ontario is going to go to basically eliminate their actual physical driver's license and OHIP cards, and they want to bring it into a digital type of thing. And they've already brought in the proof of insurance for your vehicles already can be done digitally as well. There's certain things that they're already trying to push for all digital. They don't want to send you out a bank statement anymore for your hydro bill. They don't want to send you out a bank statement for your any type of bill that you have. They'd rather just have it all done digitally through an email. So you're kind of at that point now where each and every single day something is kind of growing on to being all digital, right? And when you start to learn a little bit more about blockchain itself and why it's so important and why it's invaluable, okay, where, like I said, having to try to hack into a blockchain, not just Bitcoin or Ethereum's or Cardano, it doesn't matter which one you try to hack into, it is extremely complicated. Okay, you would need to hack every single block, and say there's 50,000 or 90,000 blocks before this hack. You would have to hack 90,000 blocks before you put your hack into it, and every single block after. Okay, so you would have to modify everything. Okay, so having some of these centralized exchanges, okay, that have gotten hacked recently, that's because they're all tied to email addresses. Okay, not only that these exchanges are the ones that are holding your crypto. Okay, you're not holding it physically yourself. Okay, whether or not you want to look at it as a digital thing or not, but those crypto coins or tokens that you're holding, if you're holding them onto an exchange, you're really not holding on to anything at all. Okay, if you're using crypto.com, or if you're using KuCoin or Binance, if you're only holding your coins on that exchange, you're really not holding anything, because it's a wallet address that they've created for you just to say that you have value in that wallet. But if you were to take it out and put it into an actual hardware wallet, or even if you want to do like a mobile wallet or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But as long as you get into a wallet, you're pretty well safe. I mean, they're gonna have to try to figure out your keys, which is, I mean, depending on how you set it up. If you have an extremely long key, I mean, the likelihood of them trying to get those is extremely hard, right? Yes, they can go through and maybe look up your blockchain wallet address to see your funds inside of it, but they would not have access to withdrawal or anything along those lines, which is quite interesting, right? When you really break it down. So blockchain itself is an extremely complicated and interesting thing. I think that having this ledger where it is able to be viewed anywhere in the world, right? To show transactions and to pay for anything that you really want is quite interesting, right? And to have it that you really can't, there is no, what's the word I'm looking for here? There is no way to really decrease the value in it, right? So the more we kind of learn about it and the more we talk about it, it only increases the value, right? And the importance. So I guess just wanted to talk to it a little bit more about blockchain. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and signing off, here's building blocks.